Welcome back. It surged to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. Original Sin is a new account of former President Joe Biden's quest to seek re-election in 2024. And as the book's cover says, document Biden's decline, its cover-up, and his disastrous choice to run again. President Trump ended up winning all 7 battlegrounds, including Wisconsin. The book, written by CNN anchor Jake Tapper and Axios national political correspondent Alex Thompson, who joins us now. Hey, Alex, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
So the book has been out for a few weeks now. I'm curious, what has the general reaction been?
Depends who you talk to. I'd say on the right, there's well, we knew all this already. And on the left, there's, why are we talking about this now, given that Donald Trump is president? But what actually has been really, honestly really nice is that I think a lot of people in the center and a lot of good faith people that aren't just hyper partisans have been curious in good faith and want to know what exactly happened.
You and Jake meticulously outlined this path, which took several years in terms of the downfall of President Biden. Was it easy to get people to talk to you?
Well, only after the election. I mean, some of this, we started this book on November 6th. We had no book deal, no interviews done really, and no words written. And then we basically sprinted to the end because a lot of people didn't want to be completely candid or talk at all before the election because there was just this huge fear that, even though that there were internal concerns about Biden's abilities, especially to serve another 4 years till January of 2029, that saying anything wasn't going to change his mind. It was only going to help Trump.
We, of course, are interested in any Wisconsin connections in the book. And I was curious to read about the moment where you talk about the 2020 Democratic Convention that was supposed to be here in Milwaukee. COVID obviously dramatically changed that. But you revealed concerns back then, even in 2019, about some videos that were being produced with then candidate Biden.
Yes, during COVID made it so that they had to do a lot of Zoom production. So in order to try to show off, Biden being folksy while also being remote, they tried to do a series of Zooms with ordinary people. And what happened is they brought in some senior Democrats, and some of these senior Democrats, these are people that knew Joe Biden, were shocked. And felt that the man they were looking at in the summer of 2020 was so different than the man that had been vice president just 4 years earlier, that they had seen a market decline.
Alex, looking forward, President Trump has signed that executive order. Senator Johnson has launched that investigation. He's told me he's willing to subpoena former cabinet members if it comes to that. Where do you see all of this going in Congress?
It's unclear. Congress is a place sometimes for show trials, but sometimes investigations do actually reveal new information. And honestly, I think it's going to depend on a combination of, does this Trump White House, what does it do with the Biden White House's executive privilege claims, which I'm sure there will be. I think it will also depend on the documents that are shared and how much, how serious are people like Senator Ron Johnson and on the other side, Congressman James Comer about doing, a real serious investigation as opposed to, sort of an investigation by press release just to keep this in the news. And I don't think we know yet.
A fascinating read. Alex Thompson, national political correspondent for Axios, co-author of Original Sin. Hey, Alex, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Up next, another record year.